Hello students, today we will be studying next part of it of the same chapter, that is properties of fluid, but today we will be studying viscosity. We have already studied something about viscous fluid in previous lecture. So let us start. First of all, fluid in motion. Whenever the fluid is moving, it is called as a fluid in motion. So let us start. What is mean by fluid in motion? The branch of physics which deals with the study of properties of fluid in motion. It is a branch of physics which deals with the study of properties of fluid in motion. It is called as a hydrodynamics. What is it called? Hydrodynamics. Hydro denotes what? Liquid. What does hydro denotes? Liquid. And dynamics means what it is in motion. So over here they are denoting what? Fluid in motion. Steady flow. Measurable properties such as pressure or velocity of the fluid at a given point is constant. Pressure or velocity at a given point is constant over a given time. It is called as a steady flow. The liquid which is flowing with a constant rate, with constant velocity, it is called as a steady flow. Okay. Now fluid line. Kindly see this fluid line. We are imagining that there is imaginary line, okay, which is flowing through this flow tube. So what is fluid line? It is a path of an individual particle in a moving fluid. Means this fluid will always move in this path only. It will never change its path. It will not never intersect each other. Okay. Flow tube. It is an imaginary bundle of flow line. It is an imaginary bundle of flow line by an imaginary wall. Means this flow line is imaginary as well as this wall is also imaginary. Okay. For a steady flow, the fluid cannot cross the walls of the flow tube. Whenever the flow is steady means what? Whenever the flow is with pressure and velocity constant, this flow will never, this fluid will never cross each other. Okay. Fluid in the adjacent flow tube cannot mix up. Means this, whatever is moving over here, will never mix with this one. Or take for example, this is a flow of A and this is flow of B. It will always move in a straight line. It will never intersect each other. This is an imaginary concept. See, we have already studied ideal liquid previously. So over here also we will be assuming that each and every flow is steady. So whenever the flow is steady, it is called as a streamline flow. You can see this particle moving in a straight line. All these particles are moving in a straight line. Such flow is called streamline flow. There is one more type of flow that is called as turbulent flow. Okay, turbulent means what? Whenever the flood is there, the situation of a flood, we can see the water moving in a random manner. So such type of flow is turbulent flow. So let us start. Streamline flow. The smooth flow of a fluid with velocity smaller than the certain critical velocity. Whenever the velocity is smaller than the critical velocity, we will be studying in later part. Critical velocity is denoted by Vc. Whenever velocity is smaller than critical velocity, then the flow is called streamline flow. Then what is called? Flow, streamline flow. Or there is one more name for streamline flow. It is laminar flow. It is what called? Laminar flow. Next one, turbulent flow. Turbulent flow means what? The irregular and unsteady flow. Unsteady means what? There is no particular direction. It can move anywhere. It can also intersect each other. It can also move in a circular manner. Okay. And its velocity is greater than the critical velocity. Whenever the velocity is greater than the critical velocity, the flow is called turbulent flow. And whenever the velocity is smaller than the critical velocity, then the flow is streamline flow. In streamline flow, velocity of a fluid at a given point is always constant. If we consider this point, you will see that velocity of all the particles at this point is always constant. Okay. Whereas in turbulent flow, the velocity of the fluid at any point does not remain constant. You can see this diagram. All the velocity is going on changing. The particles are also intersecting. So in turbulent flow, the velocity is never constant. Two streamline flow can never intersect. In turbulent flow, at some point, the fluid may have rotational motion, which gives rise to eddies. Which gives rise to eddies means what? The particles you can see is moving in a circular manner. Just 1 minute, let me rub this. You can see these particles moving in a circular manner. So whenever the particles are moving in a circular manner, we tell it it is a eddies. Okay. Streamline flow over a plane surface can be assumed to be divided into number of plane layers. We can assume, see over here, it is made up of 5 plane layers. We can assume this in case of streamline flow only. Okay. So in a flow of a liquid through a pipe, whenever it is flowing through a pipe, it will always move in a straight line. It will always move in a straight line. Okay. And each layer will always be parallel to each other. You can see this layer A and layer B. This layer A and B are always parallel to each other. Whereas in case of a turbulent flow, the flow loses its order and the particles moves in random motion. You can see this particle moving in random motion. So there is no particular order in case of turbulent flow. Next one, critical velocity. Like in turbulent flow as well as streamline flow, we have already seen. The flow of the fluid, whether streamline or turbulent, is differentiated on the basis of velocity of the flow. Whether the flow is streamline or turbulent is differentiated on the basis of critical velocity. The velocity beyond which a streamline flow becomes turbulent. It is a flow beyond which the streamline flow becomes turbulent flow. It is called as critical velocity. We have already seen streamline flow. When the flow is streamline, when the velocity is smaller than critical velocity. When the flow is streamline, when velocity is smaller, whenever the velocity is smaller, it will be streamline flow, and whenever the velocity is larger, it will be turbulent flow. What flow it will be? It will be turbulent flow. Okay. So the velocity beyond which streamline flow becomes turbulent, it is, you can say that it is a mark after which turbulent flow starts. Okay. So it is given by this formula. According to Reynolds, he was a scientist who has given this formula, where Vc is a critical velocity, Rn is a Reynolds number, N is a coefficient of viscosity. N is what? Coefficient of viscosity. It is not N, it is, we pronounce it as eta. We pronounce it as what? Eta. It is what called coefficient of viscosity. Now this is called density of the liquid, rho. It is what called density of the liquid. And D is the diameter of the tube. D is what? Diameter of the tube. Okay. So Vc is critical velocity, Rn is Reynolds number, N is coefficient of viscosity, this is the density of the liquid, and D is the diameter of the tube. So with the help of that, we get we can denote it in terms of Reynolds number as well. Reynolds number is equals to Vc rho D upon N, where Vc is a critical velocity, rho is the density of the liquid, D is the diameter of the tube, and eta is a coefficient of viscosity. So based on which we find Reynolds number is a pure number. What is Reynolds number? It is a pure number. As it is a pure number, it is having no unit as well as no dimension. It is having no unit as well as no dimension. It is founded that whenever Reynolds number is less than 1000, whenever Reynolds number is less than 1000, then the flow is called streamline. Then the flow is what called? Streamline. And whenever Rn or Reynolds number is greater than 2000, then the flow is called turbulent. Flow is called turbulent. And in between 1000 to 2000, sorry, 10 is not there. In between 1000 to 2000, the flow becomes unsteady. The flow becomes unsteady means what? It can change from streamline to turbulent anytime. One cannot predict. Okay. Now we will study more about viscosity now. When we pour a water in a glass, whenever we will be pouring water in a glass, we can see it flows very quickly. It flows very quickly. But when we pour a syrup or honey, it flows very slowly and sticks to a container. Okay. If we are doing a beaker upside down, if we are doing this beaker upside down, and if it is having water, we can see water will flow very quickly. But if there is a honey or any syrup inside, we can see that it will not flow quickly, but it will also be present sticking to the container. Okay, so this depends upon the fluid friction. It depends upon fluid friction. In the fluid also there is a friction. This fluid friction basically depends upon the fluid itself. Means it basically is there due to cohesive force. One fluid tries to pull another fluid, as well as it depends upon the fluid and its surrounding as well. This property of the fluid is called viscosity. So whenever I am telling it is a viscous fluid, means what? It doesn't flows quickly. It opposes to flow. It resists to flow. Okay. So water is of low viscosity. Water is of very low viscosity, whereas syrup or honey is having very high viscosity. So let us see this diagram. Viscous flow. Different layers flows with different velocity. You can see this, the layer which is at the middle is flowing with maximum speed, whereas the layers which is at the corner are flowing with minimum speed. Why? Because they are in contact with the side surface, whereas the middle layer is not in contact with any of the surface. So therefore the middle layer will travel with the maximum speed. Okay. You can see this non-viscous fluid. Non-viscous flow means what? You can take for example water or any fluid which is non-viscous. It flows with same speed. You can consider any of the layers. All the layers are flowing with same speed. If we observe river water, you will see the banks of both the rivers. Take for example, this is a river, okay, and bank. This is a bank on one side, and this is a bank on another side. You can see these two layers are flowing with minimum speed, whereas the middle layer are flowing with the maximum speed. Okay, water flows increases as we reach at the bottom. At the center, the flow is the fastest. From this, it is clear that there is some opposing force. There is some opposing force between two adjacent layers. There is some sort of opposing force between adjacent layers which affects the relative motion. Means this layer is moving with maximum speed. This layer will try to increase the speed of this layer, whereas this layer will try to decrease the speed of this layer. So there is some sort of friction between these two layers. Are you able to understand? We are assuming the flow of liquid as to be made up of number of layers. Now what is viscosity? Viscosity is the property of the fluid by the virtue of which the relative motion between different layers of the fluid experiences a dragging force. See over here, try to understand this diagram. This is at the edge. As we are moving from here to here, you can see the topmost layer. Previously we were considering this bank, we were considering cross section. Now we are considering from the bottommost layer to the topmost layer. You will see the layer which is at the bottom is traveling with the minimum speed, because this layer is always in contact with the ground surface. Whereas if we move to the topmost layer, its speed is maximum, so its speed is denoted by as V plus dV. If we just move below, this layer is moving with less speed as compared to this one, so its speed is V. If we move another layer below, we will see that its speed is again decreasing to V minus dV. Okay, as we are moving from one distance to another, its speed is decreasing. As we are moving from top to bottom, its speed is decreasing. But as we are moving from bottom to top, its speed is increasing. Okay, so different layers is having different tendency either to increase the speed or either to decrease the speed of another layer. Okay, so let us read this. In liquids, the viscous force is due to short range molecules. Viscous drag is due to basically short range molecules. Short range molecules we have already studied in surface tension. Short range means what? It is having some sort of cohesive force. And in gases also there is this force only, but in gases it is due to collision. It is due to collision between fast moving molecules. In gases there is continuous collision, so there will be some sort of viscous drag as well. In both liquid and gases, as long as the relative velocity between the layers is smaller, the the viscous drag is proportional to the relative velocity. Are you able to understand? जब तक ये viscous force बहुत छोटा रहेगा, जब तक ये viscous force बहुत छोटा रहेगा, तब तक क्या रहेगा? Viscous drag is directly proportional to relative velocity. Viscous drag is directly proportional to relative velocity. कब तक रहेगा? As long as relative velocity between the layers is smaller. ये दोनों layers के बीच में the relative velocity between these two layers is very smaller. जब तक ये छोटा रहेगा, तब तक ही viscous drag is directly proportional to relative velocity. Okay. Now, turbulent flow. We were talking previously about streamline flow. ये जो flow के बारे में बात कर रहे थे, that was streamline. But in turbulent, what happens? The viscous drag increases rapidly. Viscous drag बहुत increase हो जाता है. Okay. In this case, it is not proportional. Viscous drag is not proportional to relative velocity, but is proportional to higher power of relative velocity. Are you able to understand? Turbulent means what? Violent flow. In turbulent flow, viscous force or viscous drag is not proportional. Viscous drag is not proportional to relative velocity. It's not proportional to relative velocity, but it is proportional to higher power of relative velocity. But it is proportional to higher power of relative velocity. Now we will see what is velocity gradient. Velocity gradient. It is what? The rate of change of velocity with distance dx measured from a stationary layer is called velocity gradient. Try to understand this diagram. As we are moving, see the distance between these two layers is x. The distance between these two layers is x, but we are taking very small distance, so distance between these two layers can be taken as dx. As we are moving from one layer to another layer, we are moving by a distance of dx. हम लोग dx distance से move कर रहे हैं. As we are moving by a distance of dx, velocity is increasing. जब भी हम लोग ऊपर जाते हैं, velocity is increasing from dv times. Velocity is increasing by dv times. Velocity is increasing by dv times as we are changing the distance by dx times. So dv by dx is called velocity gradient. dv by dx को क्या बोलते हैं? Velocity gradient. What is it called? The rate of change of velocity with distance measured from a stationary layer is called velocity gradient. Is called what? Velocity gradient. Now, coefficient of viscosity. Coefficient of viscosity is denoted by this term eta. So, according to Newton's law of viscosity, Newton has given law related to viscosity as well, but he has given law only for streamline flow. Means his law is applicable only when the water is flowing or only when the liquid is flowing but a constant velocity. Okay, means streamline flow. What does it states as? Viscous force acting on any layer, viscous force acting on any of this layer is directly proportional to the area, is directly proportional to the area of this layer, is directly proportional to the area of this layer and velocity gradient, and also velocity gradient. So it can be written as F is proportional to A, F is proportional to A, as well as F is proportional to dV by dx. If we combine this two, then what will be getting? F is proportional to A dV by dx. If we remove this proportionality sign, then we will be getting eta. This eta is called coefficient constant of proportionality, और इसको क्या बोलते हैं? Coefficient of viscosity. What is it called? Coefficient of viscosity. Next one we will be studying now is Stokes' law. What we will be studying now is Stokes' law. What does Stokes' law states as? The viscous force acting on a small sphere, the viscous force acting on a small sphere falling through a viscous medium. Take for example, this is a viscous medium, some glycerin is taken inside this beaker, and we are taking this spherical object, we are placing this spherical object. So what will happen? It will move in a downward direction. So whatever force that will be experienced by this spherical object was given by Stokes' law. Okay, what does it state as? The viscous force acting on a small sphere, as soon as this sphere will be introduced in this liquid column, he will experience some sort of viscous force. He will experience some sort of viscous force. Now this viscous force is directly proportional to the radius of the sphere. is directly proportional to the radius of the sphere, and it is directly proportional to the velocity as well through the fluid, and it is directly proportional to the coefficient of viscosity of the fluid as well. Whatever fluid will be taking, जो भी fluid लेंगे उसका coefficient of viscosity रहेगा. हर एक fluid का अलग अलग coefficient of viscosity रहता है. Okay, so we'll be getting whatever viscous force is proportional to nRV. If we remove this proportionality sign, then we'll be getting 6 pi nRV. तो फिर क्या मिलेगा? 6 pi nRV. This is an expression for the viscous force. ये किसका expression है? Viscous force acting on a spherical object moving through a viscous medium. It is what? Viscous force acting on a spherical object means as soon as this spherical object has been introduced in this column, in this liquid column, we will see this one. Just 1 minute. Take for example, this is a liquid, viscous liquid which we have taken. This is a sphere which we are introducing. As soon as this sphere is introduced in this liquid column, he will experience some sort of viscous force. He will experience some sort of viscous force. It is denoted by Fs. Now Fs is directly proportional to, first of all, what? Radius of the sphere, radius of the spherical object. Next one, coefficient of viscosity of this liquid. ये liquid का कुछ coefficient of viscosity रहेगा, and it is directly proportional, ये दोनों, as well as the V, as well as it will be proportional to this one as well, viscous force, that is V. Sorry, coefficient of viscosity, that is V. If we remove this proportionality sign, ये proportionality sign को हटाएंगे, then we will be getting Fs is equals to 6 pi. It is proportional R N V. Now V is called velocity. Now V is what called velocity. Whenever this sphere will be introduced in this liquid column, it will move with some sort of velocity. Now this V is called velocity. Okay. Next one. Now we will try to find out this one. Coefficient of viscosity is SI unit. Okay. As well as we will be defining coefficient of viscosity. We have already seen from previous one where A is called cross section. Where A is, what is A over here? A is called area of cross section. Just 1 minute. Actually after this slide, we should have this slide, but by mistakenly that slide has come in between. So coefficient of viscosity, see over here, try to understand. यहाँ पे क्या था? What we have got? F is equals to this one, coefficient of viscosity A dV by dx. We want to define this term, coefficient of viscosity. So what will happen? ये पूरा चीज will go in the denominator. That is what is happening over here. ये पूरा चीज denominator में चलेगा. Okay. And A is what? Not area of cross section, but is the area of the layer. But it is what? Area of the layer. Now, coefficient of viscosity can be defined. Try to understand this definition so that you will not have to mug up. Kindly concentrate how I am going to define coefficient of viscosity. Coefficient of viscosity is this term, is denoted by eta. ठीक है. Coefficient of viscosity is defined as, in the numerator what is there? Force is there. What is force called? Viscous force. In the denominator what is there? Area is there. और dv by dx is also there. dv by dx को क्या बोलते हैं? Velocity gradient. इसको क्या बोलते हैं? Velocity gradient. ठीक है. A को क्या बोलते हैं? Per unit area. ठीक है. So coefficient of viscosity can be defined as viscous force. It is coming in the numerator. So therefore what I am telling, it is defined as viscous force. Abhi area as well as velocity gradient is coming in the denominator. As it is coming in the denominator, so we will be writing one term, that is per unit area. ये दोनों term denominator में आ रहे हैं. So we are defining it as per unit area, per unit velocity gradient. ये दोनों term denominator में आ रहे हैं. So we are writing per unit area, per unit velocity gradient. Now SI unit of viscosity is Newton seconds per meter square. ये कैसे आ रहा है? देखिए, coefficient of viscosity is equals to F upon A dV by dx. F force का SI unit क्या है? Newton. एरिया का SI यूनिट मीटर स्क्वायर. dv मतलब वेलोसिटी, वेलोसिटी SI यूनिट इज व्हाट? मीटर पर सेकेंड. dx मतलब क्या? इट इज डिस्टेंस अगेन, सो इट कैन बी डिनोटेड बाय मीटर ओनली. So this meter will get cancelled. ठीक है, ये seconds is in the denominator, so it will go in the numerator. So we will be getting Newton seconds per meter square. Newton seconds per meter square. This is the SI unit. CGS unit is dyne seconds per centimeter square, or it can be also written as Poissy. Now, terminal velocity. This is the last concept. See, take for example, just 1 minute. Terminal velocity. Terminal velocity means what? Any object. Take for example, you might have seen parasailing. The person moving out of the aeroplane. After some time, he attains some velocity. That velocity is called terminal velocity. It is a constant velocity with which that person is falling down. Similarly, as soon as this spherical ball is thrown in this liquid column, as soon as this liquid, he's been introduced in this liquid column, there will be n numbers of force in order to prevent his motion. After some time, what will happen is velocity will remain constant. इसका velocity constant रह जाएगा. That velocity is called terminal velocity. Now, consider a spherical object falling through a viscous fluid. This is a spherical object which is flowing through a viscous fluid. Now, force experienced by it during its downward motion, जब ये नीचे जाएगा, whenever it is moving in a downward direction, so the force experienced by it can be calculated by, okay, there are n numbers of force acting on it. We will see whatever force is acting on it. So let us start. Viscous force, which will be directed upwards. Viscous force will prevent him to come downwards, okay, and its magnitude goes on increasing with increase in its velocity. Gravitational force will be acting on the weight, gravitational force of this object, which will be acting downwards. Next one, buoyant force or buoyancy, which is directed upwards. Which is directed where? Upwards. Okay. Spherical object, after some time will attain terminal velocity. Like I have already stated, after some time the spherical object will attain constant velocity. That is called terminal velocity. What does it means? It starts moving with a constant velocity. So viscous force Fb can be stated as constant. Okay. Now, radius of the sphere is r, its mass is m, and density of the sphere is rho. It is denoted by this term. Okay. Now, density of this liquid. See over here, we have to consider two densities. One, density of the sphere, another density of this liquid medium. Density of the sphere is rho, p, and density of this liquid medium is this one. Okay. And its coefficient of this liquid is eta. Okay. So, whenever the sphere is moving downwards, what is happening? The sphere is attaining terminal velocity. It is attaining terminal velocity means what? Total downward force acting on it will be balanced by total upward force. Both are balanced, so therefore the sphere is attaining terminal velocity. Okay. So, total of downward force is equal to total upward force. Downward force, you can see this direction. Weight of this object is only downwards. Rest of it, upthrust force as well as viscous force is upwards. Okay. Weight of this object is only downwards. Rest of it is upwards. So, we can write this weight. Weight is what? M into G, mass. But we are knowing density is what? Mass upon volume. So, mass can be written as what? Density into volume. Volume of a sphere is what? 4 upon 3 pi r square, pi r cube. So, therefore, I have written 4 upon 3 pi r cube. Rho as it is, and G is coming like that. Viscous force, we have already seen in Stokes law. Viscous force का क्या formula है? 6 pi nRV. Buoyant force will be the same. That will be 4 upon 3 pi r G. Buoyant force किस लिए होता है? Buoyant force is due to this. ये density किसका था? This buoyant force was due to liquid. Buoyant force किस लिए रहेगा? Liquid के वजह से. or weight of this liquid will be downwards. Weight of the liquid, whenever we will be considering weight of the liquid, तो हम लोग क्या लेंगे, density of the solid लेंगे. weight of the solid, sorry, जब भी weight of the solid और weight of the sphere consider करेंगे, whenever we will be considering weight of the sphere, जब भी हम लोग weight of the sphere consider करेंगे, just 1 minute. Okay, whenever we will be considering weight of the sphere, then we will be considering density of the sphere. Density of the sphere क्या है, P है, rho है. जब भी हम लोग upthrust force consider करेंगे, upthrust force means what? Force given by the liquid. Force given by the liquid. At that time we will be considering density of the liquid, that is rho. So therefore यहाँ पे rho लिया है, because this is consisting of liquid. और यहाँ पे क्या लिया है, ये लिया है, because it is consisting of solid. ठीक है. Now what we'll be taking, just 1 minute, let me rub this all. Okay, let us come over here. If you see over here, this term is constant, this term is, just 1 minute, this term we are keeping it over here only, and this term we are bringing it over here, because many of the terms are constant over there. You can see 4 upon 3 pi r cube, 4 upon 3 pi r cube, as well as g is also there and also over here. If we bring this over here, it will become minus. So I have written minus rho means density of solid minus density of liquid. Naturally, density of solid is more than the density of liquid. Okay, but we want to find out this expression in terms of terminal velocity. So this whole term we'll be taking it in the denominator. ये पूरा यहाँ पे ले लेंगे. So we will be getting 6 pi nrv. After doing cancel out all of this thing, we will be left with v is equals to 2 upon 9 r square g, rho minus rho n, where n is coefficient of viscosity. ये क्या है, density of solid, and this is what density of liquid. Okay, this has been taken because you might be doing density of solid is much greater than the density of liquid. This formula can be written as this form as well. Previous one what I have done, I have replaced v को नीचे लिया, n को ऊपर लिया. So this formula can also be used for finding coefficient of viscosity. Coefficient of viscosity भी find कर सकते हैं. So let us start. Next one. This is a numerical, solved numerical. A steel ball with radius 0.3 mm is falling with a velocity of 2 meter per second at a time t through a tube filled with glycerin. Having coefficient of viscosity as 0.833 Newton second per meter square. We have to find out viscous force. F निकालना है. Okay. F formula is what? Pi nrv. Pi is value 3.14. Radius is what has been given. 0.3 mm दिया हुआ है. We will be converting mm into meter. So we will be multiplying by 10 raised to minus 3. V is what? 2 meter per second. After substituting each and every value, you will be getting this answer. 9.422 into 10 raised to minus 3. Next one. A spherical drop is there of oil falls with a constant speed of 4 centimeter per second in a air. A spherical drop of oil is falling in a air. Okay. Calculate the radius of the drop. We have to calculate the radius of this drop. The density of oil has been given, that is 0.9, and density of air has been given, that is 1. Coefficient of viscosity is also been given, Poisson. Like I have already said, Poisson is a CGS unit of coefficient of viscosity. You will see in this sum all the value has been given in CGS unit. So we will be finding the answer in CGS unit only. Radius we have to find out. Velocity 2 centimeter per second. Coefficient of viscosity. Rho 0.9. Density of over here liquid. Density of solid is 1. We are assuming. See over here, density of air, we are taking density of air as greater than density of oil. As density of air is greater than density of oil, so in place of air we will be considering it as solid. Okay. So coefficient of viscosity's formula is n is equals to 2 upon 9 r square g rho minus rho upon v. We have to find out r square. So what we'll be taking? We'll be taking this over here. As well as 9 will also go in this side. So we will be left with r square is equals to 9 rho 9 eta v upon 2 this minus this. We have to find out r. So after doing square root, this sign and this sign will go away, and this will come under root only. Root 9 nRV upon 2 rho minus this G. After substituting each and every values, you will be getting this answer. Try to solve this, you will be getting the same answer. Thank you.